Welcome back everybody to my first and final video of my 1500 day old survival world. In this video I will show you all of the creations I built here, from giant buildings to crazy vehicles ranging from gigantic helicopters to amphibious cars. Recently we all found out that the old survival worlds will no longer work in chapter 2, so I decided to give you a tour of my survival world, which I spent over 600 real life hours in. Now I think the best place to start would be right at the beginning, so right at the mechanic station. My mechanic station was used mainly as storage and garage for all of my vehicles, but I had to move most of them because they created so much lag that it was completely impossible to record. As you can see on the inside, there is really not much to it. There are only some decorations and a bunch of spot guns. This actually, 3 days before they announced that the old worlds will no longer work, I moved like 40 chests from here. All of this was literally covered in chests and craft pots to my new base, and then I found out that it was completely in vain because they were going to discontinue these old worlds. Now we can move on to the vehicles, and I would like to start with this thing right here. This thing used to be my old mining vehicle. It was actually pretty clever. It kind of looks, if you look at it, it kind of looks like an oil tanker with the crew in the back and flatbed in the front. And as you may have already guessed, the miner used 2 resource collectors and 2 refiner bots, which would very efficiently refine all of the metals. And as you can see, it has a kind of a tank track design, having multiple wheels, which were designed to go over hard terrain and especially over rocks when you were mining. The terrain was completely untraversable by normal vehicles, so I had to create tank wheels. But also there is something really interesting. As you can see, it has no suspension, which is kind of true but also not really, because the vehicle was so heavy. In smart physics, if you put the wheel 1 block away from the bearing, it will act almost as a suspension. What? Next up we can take a look at the main truck, which was used to haul crates, to move, and even to steal, literally steal, this radio tower, which I took from one of the warehouses and welded it to the flatbed. Hold on, let me take care of this. This truck has very basic suspension, as you can see. The whole bottom is made of concrete. But what's really cool about this, let me put this down, is that the truck has completely modeled interior. Includes a bed, a driver's seat, full-on dashboard. It includes lighting, even night vision, which I will show you later. Decorations. It even has a giant chest with a spare tire and bunch of gas. Can house up to 3 people. 1 right here down in the... Hold on, okay. Now, in the chair, 1 in the bed and 1 in the driver's seat. It can have up to 600 horsepower, so driving even over difficult terrain is not a problem. And of course, with a truck has to come a trailer, because what would be a use for a truck with no trailer? So I made this thing right here. Really nice trailer, used for transporting anything and everything. It has a bunch of space. I even fit at one time over 60 food crates, which I will show you the picture of. It's really crazy. The whole thing is on a free bearing and gets welded thanks to this caution block to the truck right here. And when it gets welded, of course, the trailer has a supports, so you have to manually turn them off or put them up so you can smoothly drive off. The trailer has a chest, and what's really neat about this, which I made, is the fact that you can delete this block and the fence of the trailer can be removed, and now you have a flatbed which can store literally anything. There are no size limitations. As long as the truck can pull it, you can transport it, which is great. As you can also see, there are a bunch, and I mean a bunch of beacons, and we'll go to every single one of them. The next vehicle is the Flyer, the main mode of transportation for the whole world. Very, very simple. Literally just WASD controls, 2 level 5 thrusters, 1 chest, 1 fuel tank, bed for respawn points. Super, super simple, as you can see. Incredibly maneuverable, can land virtually anywhere, including on this roof, because why not? Let's loot this chest. Nothing good, okay. As you can see, like, you can do insane maneuvers with this thing. I use it for 90% of all of the transportation because it's just incredibly quick. You can fly over obstacles, which this map has a lot of. It's very, very limited for vehicles based on ground, because there are so many cliffs, rocks and roads which just end in nowhere or are too steep and you cannot make it up them. So this is literally what 90% of the gameplay is spent on, just flying from point A to point B. Next up is the main car of the world. It's a simple, versatile hammer. It has very basic suspension, as you can see. It has 2 large chests for storage. Usually I have in all of them some spare food, spare ammunition, spare gas and a beacon just in case. In the interior there are 3 seats. One of them is the driver. Next one is the gunner, who controls the top turret. It has a simple sight, as you can see. You can aim through this. Let's say I want to aim right here. You can also shoot. And you even have a simple spotlight, but there are too many lights, so dynamic lights will not work here. Or maybe they will. Yes, see that pink circle? That's where the bullets will be fired, so you can aim at night. Also, here is the bed for respawn points, and here is enough space to store a food crate or any crate or a bunch of chests. The next creation here is S64 helicopter. I call it the heavy lift transport helicopter. It can lift up to 8 large chests, which doesn't seem that much, but you have to take into consideration how gigantic this is. It literally has 10 thrusters, which means they have to have 10 fuel tanks, and plus to all of these fuel tanks I have 5 large chests which store just gasoline. So in theory this thing could fly for up to 40 minutes. So it could fly theoretically up to a distance of 100 kilometers, I believe. Obviously the size of the scrap mechanic worlds are like 6 kilometers, so we have no problem coming from one side of the map to the other, but also you need a gigantic gas manufacturing facility which can create enough gas for you to be economical. Now we're going to leave the mechanic station behind and take the train to the next point. And here we are. So this is the other point of interest, the main dock, which was connected right next to the mechanic station. I even built here a map, a complete map of the southern part of the map. This is a perfect recreation. As you can see right here, this is where we are, in this pink dock. This is the symbol for dock. This is mechanic station. these red pipes symbolize one of these warehouses. All right, these are the exact ones, right? What the hell is this guy doing here? Whatever. Anyway, this is another dock right on this island. Right here is the beacon, the lighthouse, and right here is the village which we are going to take the boat to. From here all the way to here, to the village, and from the village we will sail all the way across this whole map to the final dock, which is right here. And here is also the maze, right in the middle of the field. Right here is our base. What we will do is sail from here to here, and then I will, with the magic of video editing, get instantly teleported right back in here. And from here we will go to the main base and to the other stuff. Okay, so this is the main dock where we store our ship. We also have these simple lamps. They add, I think, really nice ambience. Also these benches. We have the boat, which I will show you right in the second. But before that, I have to show you this house. This is actually a burger place, right? You can have your customers here, your lights. You can enter. Right here is the kitchen, even the cashier. You have your burgers, your ingredients. Hard work pays off, obviously. Fridge, everything is in here. You can also come up. Right here is where the workers live, right? Well, singular. You have a simple radio, a toilet, and a bed. That's everything. And right here is the balcony, from which you can obviously see the dock, the ship, and all of the ocean. Next up is obviously the boat. It's a simple tugboat design with gigantic fuel storage. This thing can store up to 8,400 gas in all of these chests. Also 6 more chests can be placed right here. You have your fuel tanks. You can refill the entire boat from the inside, and it has endurance of over 2.5 hours, which means with the speed of around 24 kilometers per hour, you can basically sail across the whole map twice at least. Right here is where the captain lives. Obviously, you have your interior modeled in. You have a working compass, which I will explain in a second. A bed for respawn. Also a fridge stocked with bullets and food. A radio, light control, night vision. You can have radio, windshield wipers, which I don't know which button it is. I think it's this one. Yes, you have a windshield wiper for absolutely no reason, because it doesn't rain. The control seat is actually located right here in the front for a very simple and honestly pretty clever reason. This ship was primarily not built for moving cargo, but it was built for harvesting clams and making glue. And it has a pretty clever way of doing this. Let me show you. The whole control seat is dropped down to the seafloor, and it has a very simple terrain scanning sonar, or it's basically just a simple sensor which scans the seafloor, and it automatically puts you on the correct height. Obviously it sadly vibrates, because this is just how pistons work in this game, but what this does is it drops you down to the seafloor. You can mine the clams, collect them, hop right back in the seat, and put yourself up to get some fresh air, and rinse and repeat. Right. This ship also has a barge in which you can transport cargo. Thanks to this, I was able to move things like craft boats and resource collectors to islands, well, to a single island, but sadly I never got to use that resource collector, that craft pot, because there was really no use for it. Right now we are connected and we can sail to our next destination. And as you can see, the lighthouse just got rendered in. So we're pretty close. Obviously it has the light, and all of the floors have interior in them, so people can actually live in them. It looks like the village is also being loaded in, so let me readjust the ship. Every single one of these buildings were created by a different person, so most of them were built by my friends. I also built one of these buildings, but sadly we didn't manage to finish them. We had to abandon them because of the old survival worlds being discontinued. Okay, let's stop right here and let's jump in. Okay, so this is the simple dock. We have a boat which works by you hitting it with a hammer. Very simple, but it works. Next up is my unfinished house. This was to be a fishing house where people would bring in their fish or their catches, their treasures from looting warehouses, and they would get processed right here, but sadly I was not able to finish. Right here would have been the second floor where the fishermen would live. This next house was built by my friend Skank. Very simple toilet. Obviously right here is the kitchen. This is supposed to be the television. And in the upper floor he has storage and bed. He has a very nice view of the dock. Right next to him is the bar. In which we also started. Here we have the craft bot. You can make yourself some food. Also there is the swordfish which I built. There are some garment boxes, wok, milk dispenser. We have a sunshake right here, giant revival bucket, obviously a radio. Sadly this is also unfinished, but right here is the Merlin or the swordfish, which also kind of works, which is pretty funny. It's very simple. I think it adds a nice feeling to the place, like you're by the sea. This thing right here is a 1-to-1 animatronic scale replica of a real life fish, which is called the beluga sturgeon. They used to live very close to where I live right now, in the Danube River, but sadly due to overfishing and creation of multiple dams, they have been eradicated here. And they only live in the Black Sea and in Russia. Okay, so as you can see, this fish right here, it actually works. You have a switch right down where the mouth is, and it actually swims. It creates swimming motion, and it slowly moves along the floor. It can swim pretty quickly, almost as fast as the player, but sadly it has no logic, no sensors, it literally just swims straight. Now let's go to the next part of the dock, which has to be accessed right here through this walkway. Right here is a failed treehouse design by one of my friends. And here are the next two houses. And the other part of the dock, these two houses, this house right here is made by Turkus. Very simple. He has just storage, doesn't even have a kitchen or a table. just a bed, a toilet, and a radio. Pretty simple. Next one is Boris. He made this Japanese styled house. This is supposed to be a fish leftover. He has a bed, pretty interesting looking light. And that's basically it. So let's now go back to the lighthouse. Oh my god, what the hell are you doing here? Get out of here. Right here is the lighthouse. It's about 10 meters tall. Right here is the entrance on the other side for some unexplainable reason. Down here is the toilet, the chemicals, and the water storage. You have to get up this ladder. Right here is the bedroom, some flowers, decorations. Each white floor also has a window, so you can look out. Sadly, not much you can see. You can make it. You can get up. One more floor. This is supposed to be the study room. Sadly, I don't have a chair. I ran out of them. Used them in a attack helicopter. Here's obviously also a radio. And on the top floor, this is only just for the views, and above us is the light. You cannot access it because there is really no reason for it. In this village there is also one other interesting thing. We built a water polo mini game right here, which you can play. Obviously I'm only one in this world, so I cannot show you the gameplay, but right here we even held tournaments for purple or golden garment boxes. And the rules are pretty simple. You put the red toad head right in the center on this caution block. You return this. Both of the players select match starting at the start of the game. The toadpot will play the sound for about 3 seconds, and next you have to play. Winner is decided by the player who has either the most goals when the time runs out, which is in 4 minutes, or the player which scores 3 goals. You pretty simply play it just by hitting the toad head with a hammer, and after each goal you place it and you turn on this switch, and after you turn on the switch a noise will play on the side of the winner, and a light will blink on the loser's in the loser's net, and obviously the match is over, which is signaled by this loud scream from the toad head. That is everything for this village. Obviously it has never been finished because of the update announcement that the old worlds will be discontinued. We were pretty much up until the end building more things, so sadly this village will never be finished, and now we have to sail back on this ship to the other side of the map with a dog. Don't worry, it will be sped up. For you it will take just about 10 seconds or less, and for me it will take probably like 15 minutes, so you can enjoy. And we are almost here at the other dock. Already, so this is the other dock, which is used for a very simple purpose of transporting, of loading and unloading caged farmers, which are located in a big cluster in this forest. There are 6 of them. And right here is the machine which loads and unloads them. It's based on the MAZ something, I don't know, I will put it up on the screen. It's a pretty simple Soviet off-road vehicle, which I here modified by adding here a cage where you will drop the cage farmers with this arm, which works right like this. It's controlled by WASD. You can move it side to side, up and down. You can adjust the distance at which the pistons are. You can obviously close the arm or turn the light on. Right here is also the maze, which I showed you on the map before. This vehicle is pretty slow, but it makes up for it in its ability to travel through thick forests and hills and rocks. It's honestly one of the best, if not the best, off-roading vehicle which I have. Right here is one of the caged farmers location. As you can see, absolutely zero problem going through terrible terrain. There are two of these farmers. Let me kill them. Okay. I don't need anything that I drop because the world is gonna be discontinued. Close the arm, and as you can see, the caged farmer fits perfectly inside, and you put it above the cage and drop him in. And then you can from here go to the other three and return back. We're back. We can now load the caged farmer onto the container and from the container to the barge. This is how it works. You first lower the container, then you just roll them over. Get the hammer and put them where you want them to be. Oh my god. The next place on our list is going to be the main base. In the base there are storage units, 3 garages for attack helicopter, mining vehicle and amphibious car. Now that it is finally day, we can proceed. The whole base is surrounded by these Jurassic Park T-Rex fences. All of them are protected on the inside with saws, so the bots actually do not attack them. So they're completely proof against all bots except for farm bots, but they're not gonna spawn here anyways because there is no farm inside of this place. The farm is elsewhere. Well, the 3 farms actually. And obviously in the front you have the huge Jurassic Park gate with all the lights and the sign Jurassic Park. You open it with a switch.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
And here is the main base. On the right we have the castle slash unfinished house. This thing took me hundreds of hours to make, just mining these rocks. I mean, I mined almost every single rock in the whole map. The only rocks which I was not able to mine were the ones hidden in forests. This is the interior.
Oh my god! Wow!
As you can see, it's absolutely massive. So much metal and stuff went into this. Right here, where to be the player quarters, where I would have my bed and where I would have all of my stuff like bed, garment boxes, decorations, trophies like this poster which I stole from a warehouse. I'm not gonna say how I did it because it's a secret. We have about 100, no it's not 100, more like we have around 50 garment boxes of all colors. The reason why I left them out here is because I collected every single one of them, so these are just the extras. This main hall was to have multiple floors which would be running across the whole roof. and this entire green metal structure would have been covered in concrete, which is the best block for painting, because it's, as you can see, it's very smooth. And I wanted to have a giant mosaic from one of our adventures which we had. I'm gonna put up the screenshot. It was a screenshot of a farm bot trying to kill me and my friends while we were exploring an island with the boat which you saw previously. Right here is the main storage. As you can see, there is quite a lot of chests, 3 level 5 craft pots, and even though there are 3 of them and they cost hundreds of component kits, it's still not enough. On this side we have all of the parts, the non-craftable parts, which I collected through traveling through the world. Also I had tons of potato ammo canisters, and I wanted them to AFK farm one of those structures with spot guns and sensors. There are hundreds of these corner pieces which are now going to become completely useless. Obviously these are the only bent pieces. As you can see, they're in all of these pillars. There are, I think, there are about 18 of these, no more. There are like 24 of these pillars. Each of them has tens of these individually crafted metal I-beams. These are quite possibly the most rarest blocks which you can get. As you can see, these are only found in warehouses, and you obviously, as you know, you cannot delete anything in warehouses. So the only possible way to get these is through somehow, either with explosives or thanks to explosive bots, precisely explode the surrounding blocks without blowing these things up. And then you have to get them with a hammer to the elevator, and once you use the elevator with these blocks inside, they become destructible and you can remove them. This is also how I got that painting. Very difficult and completely useless. As you can see, there are a bunch of keys, food. Obviously, I have a gigantic farm. I was going to build an even bigger one, which would have had over 6,000 plots, but sadly it was about 3 or 4 days before the update got announced, and I will obviously not be going to finishing it. Here we have all the chemicals, cotton. This floor, I don't know if you... This whole floor is made of carpet blocks which require cotton, which was quite difficult to get because I had to start out from around 10 cotton fields, 10 cotton seeds, which I crafted at the boat, and I had to slowly multiply them and grow them out to literal thousands of seeds just to be able to craft these carpets inside of this building. Obviously, circuit boards are completely useless for me because I have an AFK farm, which I will show you later, which made literally hundreds of these. I have so many circuit boards that I literally cannot even store them, and I just leave them at the base. Components are, well, a completely different story. These are much rarer to drop, so for 10 circuit boards you get on average half a component kit from my AFK farm. Okay, these are some other blocks. Not much to see here. Bunch of metal 3 blocks because I wanted to make an expandable tank which could fit inside of the elevator and later be expanded thanks to pistons to much bigger size, so you could comfortably sit inside of it, and it would have all of the... It would be small enough to maneuver inside of a warehouse, but it would be also big enough to have space for at least 2 people when it would be expanded. Yeah, that's about it for this for this castle. It's actually, the inspiration of this castle was some random Russian church slash castle. I just wanted to find something that looked good but also was pretty small, so I stumbled across this. It was called like Gruskov or something, I don't know. As you can see, it looks quite nice. Unfortunately, it's unfinished. There were supposed to be railings around this whole thing, more stuff on the dome. There were supposed to be statues here. Here is just the trash left from when this used to be a farm. I moved all of the stuff over to new farm place, which is out there in about 1000 meters, but I left out some of the seeds because I had too many of them. This thing also is pretty interesting. Also, the only way to obtain this thing and the only way to obtain legitimately the lowest friction blocks in the game. These things are actually the openings for vents inside of the highest floor for warehouses, and we managed to, while we were looting one of them, explode a explosive bot in a perfect location where the surrounding blocks which this used to be attached to got removed, and only this thing dropped to the ground, and we were able to slam it with hammers and get it to the elevator, and from the elevator we transported it on a car all the way here. And this used to be filled with these low friction blocks, but we actually used them for a different building, for a frictionless Maglev inspired floating train, which I will show you just in a bit. And also this thing is very, very hard to obtain from my warehouse also. Now to the garages or the hangars, right? We have the three vehicles, the amphibious car, the mining vehicle, and the attack helicopter. This is actually not technically it's a utility helicopter with a attack capability, but that's besides the point. I'll show this to you the last. First things first is the amphibious vehicle. This car has 6 wheels, all of them are powered. It has 2 crew, capability to swim. It was built to conquer and travel through the northeastern side of the map, which is filled with oil fields, but also filled with lakes, so it's incredibly difficult to transport through. There are very little roads, and I will show you the screenshot of the map. It's very difficult terrain, like most of this map. This map has absolutely horrendous terrain. That's why I made so many helicopters. Here in the front we have the bulletproof glass. It's 2 blocks thick. First is the armored glass, then is the normal glass. The reason why there is the normal glass is because it blocks out the texture of the armored glass, and you can see perfectly through it, like it is just a normal glass, but in reality it's armored. Next thing here is the remotely controlled 50 caliber turret. You have a light, which you can use to spot enemies. You obviously also have the sight, which you can aim with. Fully automatical 50 caliber. Next thing here is the driver. Here's how it looks once it gets in the water. As you can see, it can swim pretty comfortably. You have 2 thrusters, so you can actually pick up some speed around 16 kilometers per hour. Obviously it is not for crossing the oceans, just for crossing lakes and getting around. Next thing is the main mining vehicle. This is a completely new and upgraded vehicle. It has switchable or swappable saws with the drills. It's powered by 8 wheels. All of them are hooked up to one singular level 5 engine. Also the vehicle has a beacon, a bed, extra seats. There are 2 seats right here. Let's move out. As you can see, this is how it looks when it's outside. It has a turning pivot in the middle, so the whole rear section can very easily turn. So other than the front wheels and the back wheels, which can turn, also the entire vehicle, the entire back of the vehicle can also turn, making it possible to do some crazy maneuvers while you are slipping on terrain, which would be normally impossible without this. This vehicle obviously has 4 resource collectors and 4 of these drills and 4 chests, having total capacity to stay out for days in the field. It also has some extra food and gas, which is usually very quickly used up because obviously it has 8 wheels which are powered and you constantly have to drive because it's usually all of the easily accessible rocks or trees were mined out, so now only the ones in difficult terrain like on hills or in forests are remaining. Okay, so actually I left the thrusters from this thing inside of an airplane because there are not enough of them and I have to share them between creations, so I had to drive all the way to the airfield, spoiler alerts, and get these thrusters. That's why it is day now. But this is obviously, as you can probably clearly see, the UH-60 Black Hawk. This is precisely the M variant, which is the armed variant with wings, and on these wings you can have up to 4 hardpoints. You can drop 4 large bombs or 6 small bombs, 2 and 3 on each. This helicopter has 6 thrusters. It has 3 small chests filled with gas and 1 large one filled with food, beacons, chests and revival buckets. In the center, right here, is the bed, so you can also actually respawn in here. Right behind the bed are the fuel tanks, the gas engines powering the rear rotor and gas engines powering the pitch controls. Here are some logic gates and suspension glitches to control this whole thing. Right here in the front you have another seat, you have a seat, and behind the main cockpit you have the the spot canisters for the machine guns and for the dropping of hardpoints. Right here is the toggleable night vision, meaning you can turn it on and off. Right here is the cockpit, all of the switches, the co-pilot seat, and obviously the pilot on the left. Okay, here's the helicopter, fully made of cardboard except the places where you could be expected to be shot, meaning the side and the rear doors, which don't have glass, so you can shoot out of them. Opa. So you can shoot out of them, and near the pilot. This is mainly for protection against possible toad pods. Okay, let's hop right in the cockpit. So switch number 1 is to take flight, and switch number 2 is to reduce power and hover. As you can see, we are much lighter and we are hovering right now. Button number 3 and 4 are for the yaw controls, meaning you can turn left and right. But switch number 6 is for machine guns. You can shoot. Switch number 6 is for dropping the munitions. And the last switch is for the night vision. As you can see, it's on a bearing. It moves above the head of the pilot, and the pilot now can see better in the dark. The helicopter can fly at around speed of 75 km per hour and has endurance for over half an hour, meaning you can fly about 30 kilometers before having to land and refuel, which takes about 6 minutes. The helicopter can also carry for special missions extra fuel tanks, which look like this. They have extra gas canister in place for an extra thruster, meaning you can actually get more lift and you can lift more chests. I believe the maximum chests with both of these fuel canisters is 5 large chests, the maximum lift ability. Also here are the explosives, right? We can demonstrate drop 2. And then here is the fuel and the spare bullets, so you can quickly rearm the helicopter when you need it. Last but not least of the capabilities of this helicopter is the arm, which can grab onto caged farmers and fly them from any place in the world to the trader, whom is right here. Let's now demonstrate you using the bombs. These are the large canisters. I'm gonna drop 2 of them. Okay, let's go. Let's find some bots and blow them up. Right here appears to be a hay bot. Boom, bombs off. And he is dead. You can also do this to the big farm bot and kill them in 2 explosions. Okay, let's get rid of this one. Let's just drop this. As you can see, it has quite the power, but sometimes, sadly, the physics of this game makes the bombs, even though they fell from 40 meters, not explode. Right now the night is about to start, so I can actually demonstrate to you the night vision in action and the difference which it makes. Okay, as you can see, it's getting pretty dark and the visibility is not great, so now I can turn on the night vision and show you the difference. And here it is. On and off. On and off. The difference is not huge, but it definitely adds when looking at the horizon, so you can avoid hitting obstacles, which helped quite a few times, especially in that large helicopter. Now we can fly to the oil rig, which is located right by the base in here. It also has a heliport, and it's not purely for decorations, it actually has a very important use. Okay, we have a nice landing right here. Let's just wait for the road to stop spinning and get out and show you. Alrighty. This is the oil rig, or the factory for creating glow pool, which you can see is quite decent at doing so. Oh my god, there is so much. And while I was AFK, this thing managed to make 41 glow pool. And the location of this oil rig is not completely random. It was built right here on this lake next to my base, on the only cave which exists in this entire lake. And the reason for it was because in the cave the glowbugs spawn, so I wouldn't have to build a boat to search for them or manually have to search and jump into the water, swim back slowly and get them. I instead built this entire offshore rig with a glowbug elevator, which can get you almost to the bottom. And you can just grab the glowbug, swim just 5 meters back, drop him right here, get back in the seat, and move up. Back to the rig. And there you go. The glowbug is right here. Very simple, but it works. Okay, let's now get up. And let me show you some of the crew buildings, if you can call it that. Here is just 2 containers where the crew is supposed to live. You have just a light, a locker room, and sunshake dispenser, some posters, and a microwave. Okay, from here we can go to the train station, which connects the main base with the oil and concrete factory. Okay, we are right here at the train station. It's a Maglev inspired train, which means in real life these things actually hover on magnets. Since we cannot do it here, the closest thing you can do is have the lowest friction blocks slide across perfectly straight rails, which are here the wobble blocks. This train is actually inspired by the Shanghai Chinese Maglev train. It can go around 500 kilometers per hour. The main role of this train is to transport in real life passengers, but in here it's obviously cargo. It has this really nice fancy door which slides like this. Very, very fancy. Okay. Out in here, obviously all of these black spots are places for chests, like these two. You can use it as fuel storage, and then on the way back you can use it as cargo storage for chemicals, water, oil, gas, or concrete, which are all of these collectors, and all of these are collected or created at the next destination, which is the main industrial port or main industrial base. Right, okay, so we can close the door. Very nice. You can check out here the gas tanks if they're all loaded. They are not. Okay, so let's get the gas. Let's fill them up. Okay, this is all that I can do. Good enough. This is how the train looks from the outside. We have lights. This is what it looks like from the inside. Night vision, so you can see. You have two switches. One is to go forward, one is to go backwards. One is for the radio, and the last switch is for the doors. Okay, let's go. In here, the train tracks turn the vehicle 90 degrees, so it has so all of the roads. This is done in order so all of the roads can be completely straight. And we're almost here at the... Oh my god, okay, well, I derailed. Anyways, not my problem anymore. Okay, so we are right here at the next station. It is an exact copy of the previous one. From here you can obviously see we have the train tracks, this shack which is used to store gasoline. Right there is our airplane. This whole section stores the oil refinery. Right here is the airstrip, which is used by the plane. Under us are the train tracks which connect the oil refinery together with a chemicals and water factory, which is located right there. This thing right here is the track lying vehicle, which was used to build all of these 3 kilometers of train tracks. I gutted it because, well, there was really no more use for it. I was not going to expand this train track because it has nowhere else to go. This already connects to all of the most important resources like chemicals, water, and oil. Okay, right here, the oil shack, this is how it looks. Pretty simple. Here is the water canister. All of these chests are filled with gasoline. And down here you can crawl under this concrete layer, and here we have 8 craft bots. Most of these are level 1, as you can see, because the math for crafting these things simply didn't make sense. It's way more efficient to craft more level 1 craft bots to make gasoline than to make just a few of level 5, just 1 or 2 level 5 craft bots. Here I'll show you the airplane. Later we will use it to transport from here other parts of the map. Let's just walk through these unfinished train tracks to the concrete factory. These train tracks would have been much more refined and also would have had a cargo train coming from one side to the other, so you didn't have to walk. Here is the concrete factory, right next to the chemical field, chemical pond, and it also has a pipeline coming from water, as you can see right here. It goes all the way to the water, so you don't have to crawl or manually drive a vehicle. This is what the inside looks like. 3 level 5 craft bots. You put your stones right in here, that's all you have to do in here, and from here you just walk up to the control room, right here. So you can see the control room is very fancy. It's designed after one of those old 1970s Soviet nuclear control rooms. The operation is pretty simple. All you have to do is press 4 switches, and these select which resource, either water or chemicals, you are going to be pumping. Right, this is the water, this is the chemicals, and then the speed. So this is the default speed and this is the maximum speed. When you are mining for maximum speed, you also have to manually select how many of the craft bots are currently active. So all 3 were pumping at the fastest speed, and there is logic gate computers located right here, which automatically, based on how fast you want to craft, how fast you want to pump, will automatically pump just the right amount of chemicals and water, so your chests don't overflow and they use equal share of chemicals as they do of the rocks. So it's completely automatic. All you have to do is come here and click craft, but I don't have any more stones because I used all of them. This is the factory, obviously. This would have been the main operator. You can sit in here. You have all of your decorations, plans, papers, everything is right here. And even an emergency switch. This switch actually, when you turn it on, it completely turns off all of the suction calculating computers and just pumps straight as much chemicals and water as can possibly be pumped at one time. Okay, now let's get back to the plane. It's a very simple and quite small plane. This is not a one-to-one sized replica. It is based off of the C-23 cargo plane. This is, I believe, 45 or 50% scale, maybe 60, I don't know. I didn't want to use too many too many thrusters, so this is built perfectly for 6 thrusters. Also it has a compass, night vision obviously, a bed for respawns. Right here we have the cargo doors, you can open them. And here you have one large chest, one small chest with all the essentials like flares, your food, beacons, some potatoes. And here is one chest, one large chest full of fuel, and here is the other to extend the range of the plane. Okay, let's get inside of the cockpit. Okay, now let's take off. The takeoff is pretty simple. You just roll onto the improvised airstrip. Align yourself. And take off. Perfect. Here we are going to fly right over the factory. You can see here it is. It's pretty big. Very, very expensive. It's such a shame that building large things and getting resources like stone or metal is so hard in this game. Okay, now we're flying to the AFK farm. We're only going to do a fly around because it's going to create so much lag. As you can see, this is the farm. We're quite far. I'm not going to land because it just triggered 4 maximum tier raids, spawning over 40 haybots. That's why you have such a drastic FPS drops. Maybe I'll show it to you later. But here is the farm. And from here we can go to the crashed ship where I built some structures. Okay, we are going to do a quick fly around. Right here, here is a camp which me and my friends built like 1 year ago when we decided to go on a boat trip with our boat, to go on a world tour with our boat, and we colonized some islands and we discovered this one. This island obviously holds the crashed ship, which is right here. It's exactly the same ship as found on the spawn point. Not much else to be seen here. You can land right here. Perfect. Okay, here we are. This is the simple camp which we built. Just some materials we had left over from sailing across the whole map. The whole thing took us like 3 hours. We sailed across the entire southern part of the map, and then we sailed across the eastern part. And we stopped here, and then from here we returned back to base. Okay. Now from here we can take the plane. We can take the plane and fly to the farm, and I can show you its night vision and the compass working. Okay, let's get back in the air. I think we can make this, hopefully. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, okay, that was close. Okay, but we are in the air, which is nice. And here I'm going to give you a strict follow camera and turn on the night vision. Right here. And fly all the way to the farm. As you can see here, the compass is pointing this way. So even if I got completely disoriented, I would still know which way is north. Or in this case, west, because I put it on lift. let's take it in for a nice landing. Okay, we're almost here. We're going to be approaching and trying to find a spot to land, ideally somewhere here on the road. Right here is our main farm. It's not the biggest one, but it's the one which I use to farm the biggest amount of resources. Oh wow, that was nice. This was smooth as butter. Okay, let's take a look at the main farm. The dawn is going to come just within a minute, so there will be some more light. Okay, let's walk right here to the gate. As you can see, they actually attacked it and damaged the gate a little bit, but it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, it actually is a problem. Or is it? Yep, they destroyed the switch. Okay, well. This is the main farm. As you can see, here are the croplands. Here is the cattle house, or whatever you call it. You usually store your woks here, and you can feed them corn through these metal cages, but unfortunately all of them were killed by my friend for absolutely no reason. I have no clue why he did it, but they are all dead. Yeah, here is. Well, he took the meat and made burgers from them. Here is the place for the cows. Right next to it is the seed silo. Here is where I store all of the seeds, but as you can see, it's half empty because I moved most of them to a new farm, which is significantly bigger. It's still under construction, and it's obviously never going to be finished because I started making it just a few days before the survival update got announced. And the farm as of now has over 2,500 crops, and it was projected to have 6,000. Okay. It also worked on the same principle. You drive your tractor or harvester across these guide rails, and the sensor picks up the dark brown block and automatically places down either water or seeds or picks them up. Right here is the flag with the light. It's obviously supposed to be a workers. It's supposed to be like a take on a communist flag of scrap mechanic. You have the hammer, which is meant to symbolize workers getting resources, and the wrench is supposed to symbolize people building creations and the harmony amongst them. This is the main tractor. It's inspired on a John Deere, and behind it is obviously the trailer, which is used to automatically water and plant these fields. Water and plant these fields. It has the guide rails, which are made of glass, because glass is the block with the least friction, which you can craft in Craftbot. First thing, you have to put all of these pumps to dispense the water which is inside of these chests, and then all you have to do is turn on switch number 3, which puts down these rail following blocks and turns on the logic gate with the sensors attached to it, and you can just drive. I chose this design because it's very easy to A, manage, and B, it's very easy to scale up, unlike most of the AFK and fully automatical farms. I think this is pretty good compromise. You still have to obviously do some work, but like picking the plants up, and you have to change the pumps to suction water and then dispense it, but it's obviously much quicker and much more customizable than with the fully automatical farms. which cannot be scaled up as easily as you can see. The literally only thing I need to do to scale this thing up is add more soil and extend the guide rail, and the whole thing is ready to work again, to be expanded. Right here is the main barn. Obviously it's unfinished, I didn't do the interior, I gave up. The only thing you have here is the dress pot and a chest. This is actually a garbage disposal, a trash can. Obviously, as you farm, you create way more seeds than you actually need, and there really isn't enough storage to store all of the extra seeds and or a need for them. So you simply drop them here, turn this on, and it automatically throws it over down to the ground where it despawns outside of the water, the world barrier. And this is the trailer to pick up the loot from the dead hay bots. All you do is get a resource collector, place it here, and weld this thing to the tractor. You take it outside and you collect these scrap metal rods which drop from hay bots. As you can see, there are a bunch of them. And then you just drive back, place the full resource collector next to the refiner, and it refines automatically into scrap metal. Here is the interior. I wanted to build a bridge connecting these two, but I decided against it because I just got pretty bored and felt like there was no need to expand this thing. The only purpose of this barn was basically to store some extra seeds and house the tractor, but because the trailer is too big and I don't want to every single time disconnect it and then reconnect it and reconnect all of those logic gates, I just leave it outside. You can also open and close these barn doors. Pretty simple. And right here is the kitchen where you can mass produce veggie burgers, which you can obviously farm them here, and immediately after you are done farming you can place all of the chests of the resources and immediately start crafting. Next in here is the little dog with a sheep. It's very similar to the sheep you have at the other dog. Actually, this one is a little bit bigger. And across the other part of the lake, here is a little UFO right here, built by one of my friends. What the hell is this guy doing here? Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's a first. Right here is the UFO. Let's go up. And here is the farm from afar. The wokhouse, silo, farmland, the tractor, the flag. It's about 100 meters tall. And the last is the barn. And the last thing at the farm is the old harvester or combine, which is displayed right here. I put it right here because I didn't want to destroy it, because I used it to farm so much stuff at the old farm location. And I decided to get inspired by how the Soviets put up old vehicles on some random streets, and I decided it would be a pretty cool idea to put it right here at the farm to show where we started from. So this is how the old one looks like. And there is actually a new one which looks very similar to this, except it's much bigger and it holds 25 chests inside, which means it has about 12,000 seed capacity.
Wow!
Okay, from here we can take to the sky once again and fly to the Firewatch tower. Oh my god, okay. Which is right here at the top of the mountain, right next to the farm. As you can see, here it is. It's inspired by the old American fire lookout towers, which are placed in places like Alaska. Okay, let's take a look at this thing. Let's climb up the stairs. Hoppa, and we are here. I built it on top of a mountain to get a perfect view of a huge part of the map. So as you can see, you can basically literally see a huge chunk of the map. Right there is the trader, there is our base, right there is the village which I showed you. In here is the farm, right there is the island. There, right in this field, in the middle of it is the maze, and behind it is the dock which is used for the caged farmers, which I showed to you earlier. And then we will travel there, because there is another airfield, new structures, and then there is also a house and the farm. Let's take into the sky and fly to the next point of interest, the other oil field. Okay, let's try and land here. Let's try and land it without smashing the plane up too much. Right here at the airfield. Okay, this was surprisingly good. Already. Right here is where you park the plane. You can get out. This is the only, and I mean literally the only oil pond which is located in the right half of the whole map. One of the reasons why I hate this map so much is because literally every single one of the oil fields or the oil ponds are located in the top left corner of the map, and there is literally just one singular oil pond, which is this one right here, which is located in the entire eastern half of the map. And I decided to build here a nice little cafeteria right here. I didn't manage to get myself to build the stairs because I rarely used this place. But right here, this is how it looks. It's inspired by some of those old 1950s American cafeterias. Okay, let's take a look inside. It's obviously not finished. Here would have been the bar or the kitchen. Here would have been the toilet, and here would are the customers supposed to sit and eat their burgers, with a very, very nice view of the map of this whole valley and the airfield, and they can see planes coming and going, which is quite nice. But sadly, because of the extremely expensive cost to make these lights, I literally spent probably upwards of 10 hours just getting all of these lights, and they required literally hundreds of clams farmed in order to make glue, which was absolutely horrendous to get and to farm. So I just gave up because I invested so much energy and time into this thing. I just gave up because I couldn't handle it anymore. Okay, I just learned that I'm running out of storage space, so I'll have to make this quick. So let's just fly right out of here. From here we can fly right to the main wooden house. Okay, yeah, that was pretty hot. Okay, well, now right here, oh my god, I have 16 frames a second. Okay, that's not good. This is not better at all. Let's close this and this. Okay, well, looks like I have only 17 frames. Let's try to lower the physics. This does help a lot, actually. Okay, so this is the main cabin. This is the main cabin in the woods. As you can see, there is really nothing other than this really nice view of this lowland. And the sun is about to not set, but the sun is about to come up. Okay, so this is the main cabin. As you can see, nice wooden, pretty cozy. It has really everything you need in a house. Right here is the interior. It's quite nice. We even have here a craft bot, a cook bot which can cook food for you. Obviously you have your storage, even a radio. We can turn it on. Or we can also turn it off. Here we have another very rare poster which I stole from the warehouses. Right here we have also a propaganda poster, a key as a decoration. Really, I like everything. It looks quite nice. You can come down here where the storage is located. You even here have a into the ground glitched craft bot, and you have all of your essential materials like some building blocks, component kits, oil blocks, and etc. Okay, let's come up. We can close this. Okay, let's go upstairs. Very nice. Right upstairs is the main bedroom. You have your two beds, a fireplace. As you can see, even has a fake fire with the amber and the lights. You have another poster, extremely rare. I mean, these things are so hard to obtain. They are just, I mean, very hard. You have no idea. It's so easy to say but so hard to explain, because obtaining these things and just finding out how you can actually get them from the warehouse, it was just a pure miracle that it even happened. So I'm very happy that this is here. Right here is the table. You have your first terrace, or your first yeah, you even have a swimming pool, which you'll later see. Right here you have another door, but I'm pretty sure it's stuck because I had to lower the physics. Open. Yeah, this will not budge. Okay, well, right here is the view. Let's jump onto the fireplace, and from here right to the dress bot. Okay, let's find a more reasonable place. Right here. Here you can obviously customize your character. You can put whatever you like on him. I have collected every single one of the garments before the update. Obviously this video will probably drop after it because my computer is so slow and I also have a job and I have to work. So I cannot spend my whole day recording. I only have some finite time in the day. Okay, let's get in some nice outfit. I don't know, like this is not good. Oh my god, 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 there is a farm bot, there is a farm bot, there is a farm bot. Holy, 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 holy. Oh my god. Yep, keep walking, buddy. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay. This would have been... Oh, okay. Wow, I am at a complete loss for words. I have never seen him walk. He literally just sprinted across the field. Thankfully he didn't see me here. Oh my god. Jesus Christus. Okay, well. Now I'm super scared. Okay. Yeah, he just rolled through here. Okay, well. That's something, I guess. Okay, well. I'm at a complete loss for words. Oh my god, okay. Okay. Right here is the swimming pool. This is quite possibly one of the only places where you can actually build a swimming pool with water small enough to make a small swimming pool, but big enough so you can actually swim in it, and even build structures around it. As you can see, here is the toad head. Actually, funny story, after I built this and I saw my friends get a toad head and smash each other with it, I got the idea to make the water polo mini game. So this is actually the exact place where the idea originated. And here is obviously a jumping bridge, so you can jump into the water. Opa. This is one of the old structures which spawns right here at these flat farming tiles. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there are 4 tiles in this whole world. One is right here, the other is right down. If you look right here is the other farming tile. Okay, let's take off and get the hell out of here before the farm bot arrives, and go to the last place which I started to build, which was the mega farm. And here he is. Okay, this is quite possibly the last time I'm ever going to be in this world, so might as well enjoy it. And right here is the farm. This is 2000 plots right here. 100 blocks, 100 plots long. Okay, okay. Well, we have a complete tragedy. Oh my god, I'm stuck. Okay, that worked. Here we are. This was supposed to be the brand new state-of-the-art 6000 crop farm. As you can see, it's unfinished. The reason being, as I previously mentioned, the fact that the old words are not going to work anymore in the new update. So I will have to make a new one, and I will simply have to abandon this one, which is quite sad because I literally just started. As you can see, this is 2000, around 2000 or 3000 crop fields right here. So this is 1/2 or maybe 1/9, depending on how big I would make it. I guess we will never know because I have to move on from this world and get a new one with the update. Here you can also see some of the seed chests which I moved from the farming silo. Right, they're full of seeds. Here is a Here is my cute little vehicle. It's a 1990s cabriolet or open roof Landrover Defender. It's actually built based on my favorite childhood TV show, which was called The Prehistoric Park, and there the main character was called Nigel Marven. He's actually a real scientist from Britain, and he actually drove in the series one of these trucks. So I decided to build one for like small exploration, and mainly used to drive from this farm to the old cabin in the woods. Right, so I can show to you now the main farming vehicle. This thing has capacity. Obviously now you can see it's half empty, there are holes, but normally this would have been filled with chests. There are 21 chests right here in the inside and 5 chests on the outside, giving it for all of the chests. This whole thing is powered by electric engine, which is quite unusual. You get up using this ladder. Quite unusual, but it is the best choice, especially for its high torque and its ability to put out a stable speed, which is the most important thing when farming. You don't need to be as fast. You need to be moving in a set speed so you can reliably plant and pick up crops, right? This is how it works. It's pretty simple. You have a very nice view from the inside. Here you have a fridge full of food. You have 4 switches. Number 1 is to put the front up. I don't know what is it called, you may, but I really have no idea. Just this whole thing. The reason is not only cosmetic, it's actually serves a purpose, because when this thing is up you can turn much quicker. Right, so when you get to the end of one of these lines, you can actually pop the whole thing up and just quickly, basically on the same spot, turn into the next slot. And all you have to do is put this down, drive right here onto the guide rails and turn on your lights. As you can see, they're quite powerful. You will be able to see them at night, and turn on the switch number 3, and I can actually show you this thing planting. You have to put all of the pumps facing down and just drive. Ten plants at a single time, and you obviously have 100 of these lines. So from this end to this end is 1000 crops. So 1000, 2000, 3000 and something. You can imagine how expensive only the soil and how tedious and long just the soil took to place down. Right, I will probably build an exact replica of this in my future chapter 2 survival playthrough, because this thing is just so simple yet insanely, and I mean insanely efficient. I really do not see a way to make this any better. You literally have 5 chests which you can swap in seconds. Once the seeds get used, you literally just swipe these like this, swipe them like this, and you are ready to go again, right? So I really don't think that there is any better way or faster way to farm large amounts of produce, and this is also somewhat realistic because obviously you literally drive a combine across a field. So I really do not know what's more realistic than this. And around this whole thing there would have been a simple wooden fence, which would have had saws and drills which scare away the bots, and simply you would just stand on the harvester and just take them out. Very simple. So yeah, this is about it from my 1500 day survival world. Just today I literally bought a new computer, which cost me literally all the money I had in my bank account, so it's completely dry right now. But I will be really happy if you like this video. I honestly cannot believe that you made it all the way to the end. It was like the video is probably going to be like 1.5 hours long. So thank you very much for watching this whole thing, and I hope this earned your subscription or your like. And I will be definitely making new videos from now on, so I will hopefully be able to provide to you a really nice chapter 2 playthrough, and I'm hopefully going to survive and live another 1500 survival days. So again, thank you very much for viewing, and I guess see you next time.